Hello, my fellow geeks and gamers, and welcome to yet another episode of Game Master's Banter. This is going to be a special episode about the archetype of the tank. As I discussed in my other video, the tank is someone specialized in particularly not taking damage in any way or form. Now, most people think that a tank is a tank because they put on armor and carry around a big shield. Now, whilst this keeps you very protected from a goblin with a stick, it is not very effective in protecting you from a dragon, or magic, or a very skilled archer with pinpoint accuracy. There are many more ways to protect yourself than just using the old armor and shield combination. There are, of course, the obvious magical effects that you can use to protect yourself by any means necessary. But if you want to go for a more mundane feel, the heavily unslotted helmet is a very good option, where there's just a thin strip which you can see through. Very tight knitted chainmail also really helps to prevent that nasty rogue from stabbing you in the side. But how do you protect yourself against a dragon? Well, adding spikes to your armor would definitely prevent anything from trying to eat you. There are also other things like being a very skilled dodger. Getting out of the way of damage is the same as not taking the damage. Therefore, a very dexterous character can also be considered the party's tank, if and only if they manage to keep getting away and not take the damage. Another very important way to prevent damage is to prevent the damage from even being dealt in the first place. Means of doing this could be again the magical route in the means of things like counterspell or anti-magic. But an archer could also be very useful in preventing the melee characters from getting close by shooting nets or pinning them to the ground. A rogue could sneak away and not even be able to be targeted by their illustrious enemies. The typical fighter in plate armor, chainmail, a big hefty shield, and a very thick helmet can prevent damage in other means as well. He can prevent damage from being dealt to his allies by means of interposing himself where others would not dare stand. When a dragon readies his vicious breath weapon and tries to kill the wizard, the fighter in armor will stand in the way. With his giant shield, he will avert the fire and protect the wizard, so the wizard can bring hefty vengeance down upon the dragon. There are several classes that are very interesting to put down as a tank. Now, the obvious type is the fighter, warrior, and barbarian options, where you have a lot of armor and a lot of hit points. But a rogue or an archer is also very interesting to play in a tanky way, because you taunt your enemies, using your bluff instead of your intimidating skills, to convince them that you are the worthy target that they're looking for, by either challenging them directly, or by means of taunting them in the most vicious of ways by calling their mother a half-orc or any other form that can be thought up of. But the most interesting type of tank is the magical one, because anyone can be immune to damage, but preventing damage, now that is something that the magical tank is really good at, if done correctly. Now, I will not discuss how to build them exactly. I will merely give the hint that the protection counts for everyone. No damage can be dealt when there is nothing to do. Now, freezing time would definitely prevent damage from being dealt, but disarming weapons, or breaking them, or turning a giant axe into a small twiddle stick could prevent damage as well. Although this is a very uncommon and exotic way of tanking, it is definitely a way of tanking. Personally, I don't like tanking as much, but a bit of armor and a bit of ability to take damage as well as dish it out is something that needs to be carefully balanced in a player, in a character, and in the group. Because you never know, is that goblin going to stick its stick where I do not have my protection? Or is that dragon really considering biting me regardless of my spiked armor? There are so many other things to discuss about the tank. There are also more archetypes to discuss. So for now, I'm going to bid you all farewell, and I hope that I have made myself rather clear about what I consider a tank to be, so that in future reference, when I use the term tank, or tanking a hit, everyone will know what I mean, or at least somewhat understand what I'm trying to convey. As always, I have hope that you all like this episode, and until next time, keep rolling.